Officially back in the studio to talk some NBA. I know missed last week, Kev. Sorry on that one.
That was my fault. I even took responsibility for it. I feel like I blew that one, honestly, more than anybody.
I wasn't going to throw you under the bus like that. I'd take credit. I'll take credit. I
already jumped in front of it, pal. Don't worry.
All right. Well, we got to figure out next week because I'm going to Vegas, which, by the way, before the end of this episode, I do want to say I'm going to go out there. I'm going to put 50 on an NBA team. We got to decide before the end of this episode which team that's going to be. In terms of most beneficial, I feel like the obvious choice is like OKC, but I feel like that's not going to be the biggest return. So we can dive in on that later. But I'm going out there with 50, and we're gonna ride this train.
We gotta keep you loaded. We gotta keep it loaded up for sure. We also gotta this is a fun episode because not only we got Justin in the studio, we also got a surprise, unexpected guest in the studio today. That might be a first. I don't know if we've ever had a guest come out of nowhere like that, but I love it.
He was just in the window as we were recording.
And I said there's only gonna be 1 or 2 people in Jacksonville with you that are just gonna pull up on a Saturday, but you never know what you get sometimes. And so our guy Carlton Cabey back on the podcast, joining us for a little 3-way all-star action. In the least weird way possible. We're gonna talk some tanking as well, of course. Yeah. But what's up, Carlton?
How we doing, guys? Man, it feels good to be here. Always good to be here. How's it going?
Carlton and I were talking the other day about how he was really excited at his Heat's decision during the trade deadline.
Yeah, Pat Riley took it. I need whatever sleep medicine Pat Riley has, man. That's some good sleep he gets. Every time it's time for an important decision, he gets a good nap in.
Listen, man, you want to even talk about it with us? Like Sam and I, shout out to our guy Sam Albuquerque, who was on last week with us, and so we talked about the Jared McCain train a little bit. And dude, I saw Jared drop 21 for OKC the other night, and I just stood up. I immediately just stood up and shook my head. Like I need Daryl Morey arrested immediately.
Dude, when that trade happened, it was like, I know you responded to it. It's like, well, it's a lock. He's going to be amazing for OKC now. And it's
so like, obvious.
We knew he was. And the whole thing was like, if you're doing this for a bigger, longer play on the Sixers side of things, like, all right, maybe you could talk me into it, but there wasn't.
Yeah, and that first round pick might even just be Jared McCain. Who knows? We played the mystery box game.
Dude, that was absolutely atrocious.
Terrible. They did deduct the tax because the Sixers aren't serious about winning a title.
Yeah,
straight up. Like they're not. Yeah. And I don't even think they should be operating off Embiid's timeline necessarily. Like I think you probably at this point should be planning more around Tyrese and VJ. Like I think they've earned that right. But like, man, y'all got called out publicly about ducking the tax, and then you traded a young player that had shown genuine upside to avoid the tax. Basically, like it's gross. Like, it's nasty work for the Sixers.
And like you could try to sell me on like, well, he was a little down this year, and it's like, yeah, of course he's coming back from injury, and like, yes, he was in the G League, but we were seeing, you were seeing what you needed to see.
Consistent minute. He also just didn't get consistent minutes. Like that's my thing too. Is it's like y'all gave up on him, and he was on a rookie deal. Like what are we like? All right, we don't need to go down this path. You know how it goes.
Let's move a little forward in the timeline to All-Star Game and All-Star Weekend. The numbers have come out. More than 46 million people in the U.S. watched NBA All-Star Weekend. I was one of them by accident. I actually forgot it was on until I was at the bar, and I was like, oh, I forgot about this.
Because it was so early.
Yeah, it just felt like it caught me off guard. Like I knew it was All-Star Weekend, obviously, because we do a basketball podcast. We talk, but it was just one of those things. I was out and about living life on a weekend, and I was like, oh, right, this is on. I should watch this. So I guess let's get your guys' reactions, your thoughts on it. It was the 75th NBA All-Star Game, which was a USA versus World. There was a lot of talk about how that worked. I guess my worry is I don't think that will work every time.
Right.
You'll lose that passion, especially this year with like we were just talking about with hockey and the Olympics or Winter Olympics. Like, that's a big part of it. I almost feel like if you adopted this format anytime there was an Olympics, especially a Winter Olympics, where they almost coincide, like that's where it works. But I think like if you do it next year or maybe the year after, that's where you'll start to lose the passion that we at least saw in the round robin.
Right. And I think you're onto something. Like, do it every time it's an Olympics. Keep switching it. Like, next year, go back to the Kobe rules. That was competitive. Like, why did we go away from that?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think we went away from it because of last year's hockey It was All-Star break, right, Kev? That was
you're talking about the Four Nations Cup.
Yeah, the Four Nations. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, the Four Nations. I think that's what got people thinking, what if we do this format? Because I remember us talking about it, right. and it worked. I mean, we saw it. It worked. There was viewership. Like, it was good.
And with the Olympics in general, like, I think you're onto it with that. Just with like, the competition in the Olympics. Even go back to the gold medal game last year with France, the Serbia game. Like, there's a lot of like the world is caught up. I think that's especially when you combine them. Like, I think individual countries. Listen, USA still reigns supreme at basketball. I think we all know that.
You even saw like Wemby. Wemby at the end of that game was upset. Like you don't get that from an All-Star game in general. That they were into it. And
that's where I'm like, man, like Wemby just keeps checking every box for me, man. He like you talk about the faces of the league, and a lot of times like who's going to step up when LeBron and Steph and Kevin Durant decide to hang it up, and the new generation comes in. We've kind of worried about like who's it going to be? Is it going to be Ant? Is it going to be Jokic? Is it going to be that? Like, it's in great hands of Wemby. Wemby took this seriously, and I mean, even in his MVP speech after Anthony Edwards, the All-Star Game MVP, he credited Wemby and said, "Yo, Wemby set the tone. Like, he came out and said, we're competing. This is serious. Like, that's been the biggest thing, obviously, the last few years. It's not like, oh, it hasn't been serious. It's been completely unserious. Like, it's been y'all might as well as just have these guys in open gym shooting around the way it has been going the past few years. And so I give him at least a lot of credit there. I mean, that checks in line with everything we're seeing from him so far. But I mean, beyond the Spurs just being in a great position for the rest of the season, something we're going to talk about tremendously, like having an extremely real chance to win the title this year. Wemby, again, I'm just so impressed by this kid.
Yes. He's just advertised. Like, he's everything. Of course, we need him to stay healthy. That's anybody. But on what's, like you said, what makes him so impressive, he cares, and his defensive side. Now, granted, I'm gonna complain every time they give him a lot of his blocks are goaltends. but at least it's the effort,
dude. And I think that's what made him the most upset is the loss in the All-Star game was a defensive breakdown essentially, and so that's why it's like, man, you guys totally like you had it. It was a defensive breakdown. So I will say, I think they said it was an 87% spike over 2025 in terms of viewership. I think people were really into it. I think it was the highest ratings in 15 years, I believe, was the number for that. Now, I will say I think that is for the All-Star game.
Right.
The rest is like that's a whole different conversation. The dunk contest. I mean, it's a broken record at this point. I feel like we talk about this every single time. It's like it's just not. I don't know.
I don't think it's ever going to be.
Yeah, you can. It's just like, to me, it's like the All-Star games. Maybe you spread it out throughout the week now instead. You know what I mean? Like, you just make it a longer thing. But
shout out to Kashad Johnson for winning the slam dunk competition. But I mean, if we're being serious about this, like, the moment I feel like everybody talked about was Jace Richardson and the fact that he just thankfully is like okay and not dead after he smacked off the hardwood going for that 360 dunk.
That's
like,
what I mean. Yeah,
the dunk contest is cooked. I mean, I think we knew that for a while. I mean, look, like, give credit to Mac McClung the past few years. I feel like he's done a good job at making it relevant. I mean, it's almost at the point for me now where, and I've kind of said this the past few years, is where it's like, yo, you got guys on YouTube who essentially are just professional dunkers. Like, just bring them out, man. Right. Like, bring them out to do something.
I went to McClung's social, because he posted here's what I would have done in the dunk contest. Right. I went to go see that more than I wanted to even see the dunk contest stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying.
You get a gem once in a while, like, every 5 years, it seems like we'll get like a Derrick Jones Jr. versus Aaron Gordon, or we'll get a Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon, but as a large majority, I feel like since 2010, these have been pretty whiffs. Like, it's a lot. I mean, shoot, dude, you want to really go back in the podcast archives, one of the first episodes that when we were starting the concept of this podcast and we were sitting down and watching it, it was Tim and I watching the worst dunk contest of all time, where they gave them like a minute and just unlimited attempts to do the best thing ever. Like, that was and it really hasn't gotten much better.
I think it was might have been Giannis. I don't know. I put it on and I think he was trying to dunk and he missed two, and I was just like, dude, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm done. I'm over it. You missed two, you're out. You're done. Get out of here. Like, it's got to be over. I don't know how you fix that. unless you somehow make it directly impact like the draft pick that you can get. Like, can you imagine how funny that would be? Like,
and it's terrible because I don't blame the dunkers because I honestly think
don't either. You just
I think
can't.
It's just the point where we've seen all the dunks. Like
there's only so much you could do.
Back then, jumping from the free throw line was good. Unless somebody jumps from the 3-point line,
you're not gonna do it.
Be impressed because like when you think about it, I know me and Kev like to talk about this. Like when we see people do things that's really impressive, it's like that's good enough credit. Like jumping from the free throw line is pretty
crazy.
Impressive. And we're like, oh, yeah, 42, cool. 43.
Yeah,
that was good. Like we've got used to see everything. I compare it to the 2K video games. I know you guys don't play as much. It's just like, I complain every year, like, this game is trash. But it's like, what
you
do they really do? Like, they bring the new players on like it's basketball at the end of the day. So
right. You just can't. I feel like, at least from a dunk standpoint, it's like there's only so many things you can do. And we probably have reached that and again, to your point, like we're almost numb to it, even though it's amazing athletic ability. We've seen it, and so it's not as surprising. I mean, like I watched which one was it? The under. It was almost like the windmill under the basket dunk. It's like, you know how hard that was, and I saw it, and they're like, "That's a 50, that's a 50," and I'm like, eh. That does nothing for me. Like I can't. I don't know.
I don't know if this will fix it. But, like, just have a bunch of dunks, like you said, the YouTubers or professional dunkers have a bunch of dunks that we've seen, and let us vote on them. And if they can do it, if the players can pull it off, it's a 50, you grade it.
Make them learn the dunk.
The dunk that they're doing, and maybe that can. I don't know what you can do at this point.
I don't know.
Chase Richardson tried to do his dad's dunks.
Yeah.
And other than, like Kev said, other than him almost killing himself, it looked better when his dad did it because we had never seen it before. It's just like.
Maybe it's a similar like world versus NBA stars thing. You know, like bring in the dunkers, do it, and then have like, you know, almost like a what's it called? Almost like a horse. Like the non-NBA dunkers come out and do the dunk, and now we got to see if Giannis can do the dunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
then if they can do it, cool. We move on where they don't get a you know. Maybe that's the game. I don't know. Again, at this point, tear it down. Like, just figure out what's a new process for this.
Yeah.
Or don't do it at all.
Yeah, the event that I feel like is past it, the dunk contest a little bit, has been just, and part of this has obviously been with the natural progression of how important the 3-point shot has been.
Yeah.
You know, the 3-point contest. To that point, like, what did y'all think about Dame winning the 3-point contest? Because I'm not gonna lie, like Dame came out and I borderline forgot because like he's not playing right now, rehabbing the Achilles, and I was like, wait, Dame is in this, and then Dame won, and I'm just laughing because he's like kind of got warm up pants on still a little bit. And it's like, look at Dame coming off the bench and just flame throwing.
See because like the tinfoil hat in me was like, this was a next year play. To me, this was a next year play. They knew Dame would be able to get it. You know, get his, I think it was his third, right? His third. Now Steph locks in for next year. Yeah. We'll get some other shooter. You know what I mean? Like, this is a 2027 3-point contest play to me where you get the big names, Steph, Dame, bring out some others. There was a text going around of some other shooters that said they would do it too or something like that. It's like the tinfoil hat in me is like, this was Adam Silver and them being like, let's get the all-stars of the 3-point contest to duke it out. And in this case, maybe get Dame to win his fourth, Steph to win, you know, that to me is what this felt like more than anything. Cause I'm like, yeah, wait, you're not even playing.
and that's promotable too. Like, you know how you can promote, let's say you got Dame, Steph, bring Clay. Clay,
Steph
Devin Booker.
Play in.
Devin Booker.
That's what I'm saying.
Kyrie.
That's what I mean. Then
you get some of the younger guys. Get you guys, Jarrett McCain. You know, bring some people who is fans and let Wemby do it. Wemby, you know, say you're not expecting to win, but they've always done.
Was it Ant who just passed? Someone just got 1,000 threes on their career or something like that, and it did it faster than Steph did.
Was it Ant?
I thought it was.
It might be Ant. I feel like I saw that too.
And I was genuinely surprised, like, because it was like someone that's like, he's not like he's a shooter, but like, you know what I mean? When they said that's why someone's whole thing, the article that I read about it was like Steph's 3-point, you know, numbers, like passing him may not ever happen. But then they're saying like, you got guys who aren't even like the 3-point shooters that are getting to 1,000 faster than Curry did it. Like, it might one day, if you get the right person, like it could potentially get get some challenges.
It's one of my favorite things to mention because you know how sometimes we become weird fans of people, like just random people.
Mm-hmm.
I think because I wanted them to Heat, I was a huge AC Law fan. Like I just randomly enough like AC Law, and I joke about it all the time. Steph Curry was not better than AC Law. Like he was behind, he was backing up AC Law because he wasn't better, and then his ankles looked cooked.
Yeah.
So it's not crazy that if somebody comes in right away, that they can pass Steph Curry's record. Like records always look unbreakable until they break them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that part, Carlton, is important. I think a lot of people forget that. And by the way, AC Law, Texas A&M God, college God for sure. No, Steph's ankles early on, like there was a very real concern over his first 3 seasons, like with the amount that he had. And I mean, that's why obviously like when the signature shoes came out, you see all of them being super high top and things like that. Like it's pretty remarkable that Steph has obviously become the arguably top 10 player of all time that he is now, given that. Like, that was a very real concern early in his career that I feel like doesn't quite get talked about in the Steph narrative as much because because it's become such a non-concern. Like, he's been so largely healthy other than a few random ones here and there over the rest of his career that, you know, he's done a really good job.
Carlton, AC Law, would you rather take a guess at all the teams he played for or guess the over-under on points for his career in the 4 years?
Let me get the points. I don't know who.
Team's crazy. He's gonna have some G League squads in there. You're gonna have some random like 10-day contracts.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams.
I can name maybe 2 of them.
Okay. How many points do you think he had in his career?
All right. So you said 4-year career.
4 years. It looks like he played 188 games.
188.
Only 8 of them were did he classify as a starter?
Okay. Oh. 4 years. Let's see.
He got a 41% field goal percentage, a 23% 3-point percentage, effective field goal of 43.
23% is crazy. Like Kev said, I don't think he ever missed a 3 at Texas A&M. I don't think he missed a shot. I have no recollection of him missing a shot at Texas A&M. Let's go. Did he get 1,000? Let's go 11. Did he get 1,100?
He's under.
He didn't get 1,000 points?
He did not. He missed it by a decent amount too.
Where's he at? 800?
725.
He only had 7, and that was the guy that Steph couldn't get minutes over.
Yeah. So he played for Atlanta. He was drafted by Atlanta, 2 years in Atlanta, which is where he played most of his minutes were there. He then went to Golden State for 2 years, 45 games. He then did a year in.
Did he play in Boston?
No.
Damn.
This
okay,
says this looks like he played in. It's weird. They don't classify Charlotte as a team, but he has 9 games at Charlotte.
Well, probably with Bobcats, right?
Well, it's weird. So 2009, 2010, he played for Golden State for 5. They must have traded him. He played for Charlotte for 9, and then he played for Chicago for 12. So in the way that they classify Chicago as the team for that year, I guess because he just played the most games for it. And then in 2010, 2011, he was on Memphis and then went back to Golden State.
That's crazy, man. He was so good at Texas A&M. Like, he made my March Madness that year. I need this guy in the Heat. Like, I was just visualizing him and Dwayne Wade. What year was he? I think we had Shaq. Did we still have Shaq then?
His first year was
2007,
2007, 2008 was his first year with Atlanta. Yeah.
No, college legend for sure. A&M legend for sure. Either way, though, I mean, what do we think, though? I mean, I guess to wrap up All-Star and before we move on, you know, I mean, maybe this is me just watching the Winter Olympics too. I think this is a unique year where that kind of factored in a little bit, though it was kind of funny but that NBC has the coverage. Like, that's what was so crazy is it was like the Olympic coverage went right into All-Star, and it's still just like. Like, I would like to think that we're in the upper echelon of people that care about the NBA. And I'm consistently finding myself to struggle to care about All-Star Weekend. Like, I care about so many things that this league does more than All-Star Weekend at this point. It's just, it's lost. And that's like, even good things for my guy. Like, shout out to my guy, VJ Edgecombe winning Rising Stars MVP. Like, Tyrese Maxey was on the team that won the game, the Stars team that won the game, or the actual All-Star game. But I'm struggling to care.
I'll tell you, I think it's a deep, I've had this thought for a little bit. and it'll kind of lead us into when we do our intro and start talking about the tanking stuff, because we're going to get into that. I think the people like you and I and Carlton, like the people that care about the NBA a little bit more, I think we're struggling to watch more than the casual fan. And I think it has to do a little bit with the tanking situation. Like, I've been struggling the last few years to fully get in on more than like 3 teams. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Obviously, Sixers are always there, and even they're tough because, oh my God. But but like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll get in on OKC and I'm locked in and I love it, and then I'll, last year I was intrigued by the Cavs and then watched them implode. You know what I mean? Knicks this year, it's like, okay, let's see what you guys got, Other than like a select few teams, it's a hard watch sometimes.
It is.
And again, I think that's a overarching, more than all-star game NBA conversation, I think. So for me to get into the all-star game, because I was already a little bit burnt out by teams that aren't trying or playing or like working hard, like I wasn't as in. But then you go to a casual fan who maybe only cares about their team and was watching the Olympics, and it goes right in to all-star game, and OKC, you see SGA there, you're like, oh, cool, like let's keep going type stuff. To me, that's where I think some of the viewership stays up a little bit higher, and gets more intrigued. I think it's the more hardcore fans that might get a little more burnt out because of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I want to table this now because I want to go back, because I think this transitions well into our tanking conversation, because I don't want to cut that thought off. I want to come back to it. So just, we'll resume that after the commercial break here a little bit. Welcome everybody to the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Cousart.
I was gonna pull an all-star game stat, but I didn't. So
no, that's fine. We'll get right back into the tanking, and plus we need some extra time in the intro as well. Our guy Carlton Cabey in the building.
Yeah.
I can't. He got to come around at some point, like more towards the end of the show, just so he can get you can see Carlton kind of in the background of the TV that you got behind you right now. But yeah, when we get to the end of the show, we got Carlton come around.
Next time Carlton's here, I'll sit on the other side. There's 2 mics over there, so I'll sit next to Carlton, and I can flip the camera around, and that'll be perfectly fine. So we'll plan for it next time. That'll be easier.
We like I said, we love a surprise guest appearance here on the podcast. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We will read them on the show. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
And we're on YouTube, Drive and Dish NBA. You can follow us there. Subscribe, same as podcast. You'll get notifications when new episodes are coming out.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
So let's get into NBA tanking. Obviously, Adam Silver's made some comments. He's pretty much acknowledging that it's worse this season than in recent memory. And now he's considering multiple anti-tanking remedies. Things like locking draft lottery odds by set dates, and revising protections, hitting teams with loss of picks if they're blatantly losing, which all those sound great. I just don't know if it's actually going to stop, because at the end of the day, those top ones, like I get it, they still have, protections and stuff. But at the end of the day, that's those protections are what's part of the problem. I think you protect a top 10 pick, and you're a spot where you might get an 11 or a 10. Well, of course you're going to lose.
Right.
Because what's that do other than make you maybe the 8th seed in a playoff series or something? And you're not going anywhere.
The most pointless thing ever in these trades is like, okay, the Heat traded Bam Adebayo to OKC for 2 first-round picks and doing 2 pick swaps. Like, what are the pick swaps going to do? They're not going to be worse. Like, you're keeping your own pick.
Right.
Like, pick swaps are the stupidest things ever.
You just said it so you could feel good about it. Yeah, no.
We got those 2022 pick swaps. Like, okay.
The format that I read, I forget who it was. It was some stupid LA TikTok thing that was out there. This guy's idea was essentially by All-Star game, you lock in who your bottom teams are. And then from those bottom teams, from that point on, winning is what gets you lower. Yeah, so if you get a win, you get 3 points. If you get a win in overtime, you get 1 point. If you get a loss, you get 0.
Oh, so
if you get a loss in overtime, you get 1 point.
He's going hockey soccer.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes. So then for the rest of the season, those teams are trying to win. In theory, you still lock in the bottom whatever, 5, 8, whatever you want to do. That would be your teams. Now, the only caveat to it that I have problems with is, say you're the first team out of that's not in that. So, I mean, you still have motivation to win, because at that point you're not going to get into the bottom 8 picks or whatever it is. What if that team or a team above them, a few above them, they get injured to a point where they're going to really start to lose? That's where I'm like, how do you get them in the mix somehow where like it does make sense for them to develop the talent a little bit more? But to me, that's a process that would work.
Yeah, I like that. Even with not even like, because you're right, it's more involved in having the win scale. If you just kind of lock it maybe before the trade deadline or maybe before All-Star break, like I don't know what you decide the deadline is, but I feel like if you lock it earlier, because the biggest thing right now is like is that it's just so flagrant. Like we are flying, and again, this is coming from me, a firm trust the process believer, and I have not changed my tone there. Like there are many reasons to go in the toilet and get superstar talent, especially in a draft.
I think you lean into it. Look, we know you guys want to lose. That's why we're going to flip it. Losing no longer gets you the lower pick. Winning now does. So you're now in the toilet bowl essentially for the last 20, 35 games of the season, last 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. You now have to win. And to that, I think with the trade deadline, it could make some like team cult heroes. You go trade for like a Rudy Gay who comes in and wins you, you know what I mean? 15 games and lands you that number 1 pick. Dude, you'd be you know what I mean? Like like the player that would get stashed on a bad team to get wins, or teams that would potentially be willing to go trade for a bad contract for, potentially 15 wins back half of the season. That opens it up for the good teams, and it potentially leans into those players becoming some cult heroes for other NBA teams. I think it could really create a cool situation.
Well, that goes to the tournament idea too, right? Like Adam Silver, I know, has floated here we go again, another NBA tournament. But like, I know, they floated the idea of essentially competing for the number 1 pick and competing for those odds. I mean, because it is. I mean, look, like even to me as a tanking defender, that Jazz game the other day with the Pacers, and they both did, and they both got fined for it, and like the Jazz got fined $500K, but like who cares at the end of the day? But it was like, bro, they were up double digits and then pulled Nurkic, pulled Charon, and pulled Laurie, and it just was like, oh man, like we lost but that was a smart thing to do.
Whereas if it was a win gets you 3 points towards getting that first pick, I bet that game's a little intense because you know what I mean?
You think Jaren Jackson's out for you think Jaren Jackson's shut down for the season if Utah's trying to win? You think Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan out in Sacramento and Sabonis are all shut down for the rest of the year now?
Trey for the Wizards. You think I know he was in, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like he'd probably be coming back because you need those wins now.
You pick up AD if you want to tank. You know he's going to miss games.
Right. But now he might be thrown. You know what I mean? He might be getting thrown in. Hey, you're injured, but get healthy. We need to get these wins so we can get a higher pick. Like, I really enjoy that idea. I think it would be really good. I think it gets specifically the local fan base. You know what I mean? Like, I bet Wizards fans would be more locked in on the bad team because, man, we're going up against the Pacers. We gotta. Hey, if we beat them and we get 3 points, we might jump them and get that 1 pick.
I do love the gross win streaks. In theory, hypothetical win streaks, but actual losing streaks that start to pop up around this time this year. So Chicago, for example, Chicago's got 24 wins, but they've lost like 8 in a row. They're 1-9 in their last 10.
Because to me, they realize what's the point. That's the thing.
I mean, realistically, like you've got a bunch of teams. I mean, the Wiz, the Nets, the Pacers. Granted, I don't think Pacers are not tanking on purpose. If anything, the Pacers probably have one of the more ethical tanks here. Dallas. I mean, Dallas is 0-10 in their last 10. Utah, we just mentioned, shutting down guys for the season. New Orleans. Sacramento. New Orleans beat the Sixers last night. Sacramento. I mean, losers of 16 in a row right now. And again, shutting their guys down, like that's not a situation that looks like it's getting any better anytime soon.
And then you create situations where you don't have layup games. Like if the Pistons go up against the Pacers still view that, hey, if we can win this game, we get 3 points towards the number 1 pick. They're coming at you with everything still. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I like that one.
Then the Pistons don't have a situation where it's like, oh, this is an auto win. No, you've got a team that's very motivated, to potentially win that. That last week of the season, Could you imagine if like Pacers, Nets, and Kings were all tied at like say it's 35 points towards that one pick? That last week, yeah, we're watching Thunder and we're watching Pistons to see who's landing, but then we're also watching Pacers, Nets, and Kings and Pelicans and whoever, because they're all, if the NBA is smart, those are teams that would be playing each other at the back half of the season. That last week would be a gauntlet of who's going to get that number one pick. Those games, I guarantee you, would pop in numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas the good teams are already going to have the numbers. Those are going to be there. Right. That's how you get viewership on a Kings Pacers game in the last week of the season. If they just happen to be within 6 points of each other for that number one pick, that game is going to be crazy. I would. Right. That's, you talk about a narrative that you could put on a game. Make the one pick, whoever that player is going to be that year, be at the game. Sit him on the sideline. Sit him right in the middle there. He's going to watch this.
I have two ways to solve tanking.
Okay.
The first one is never going to happen, but first one you got to hit the owners where it counts. So take all the teams that missed the playoffs that year. They get their ticket revenue, but the TV revenue and all that goes into an NBA bank and it goes to the winning teams and stuff like that. So you're hitting the owner's pockets.
You're taking that money.
So now they're going to want to get better teams. The second one is, I kind of piggyback off what Kev says. It's still going to say it's rigged and stuff like that. But all right, so now we have All-Star break. Do the draft lottery now. Don't tell us, but do the draft lottery now, behind the scenes, record it, and just have it so the number 3 pick is what will win. Make 1 through 13. Was it 13 or 12 teams? It's 12, right? No, it's 13.
At the draft lottery?
How many teams are in the lottery? Is it 12 or 13? But make it even, 1 through 12 or 13 even. Have a draft lottery at All-Star break and then film it after the season and be like, okay, the 7th pick is the first. So the NBA teams don't know. So yeah, you can tank, but you have no idea where you're going to land at. Mm-hmm. So teams still want to win, because what does it matter if I have the worst record or the 5th worst record?
Still going anyway.
I don't know who gets the first pick anyway, because you had the draft lottery at All-Star break to determine the 5th worst record was going to be first that year, and you make it that way.
Would it make it harder to trade first round picks in that scenario?
Yeah,
potentially.
It probably would, because you don't know what you're trading. Because if the Heat trade their first round pick of 2026 to the Sixers,
28, you don't know,
or I'm saying, like, for the season for 2026, the draft lottery happened. You could have just given the first pick and didn't even know it.
See, that's what I wonder. That's what I wonder. It's like, that would make it. Would that?
Could you imagine if you just were the GM and you thought you made a better team and you accidentally traded the first overall pick and you had no idea, like that? I like the intrigue in that. I'm not gonna lie. That's definitely. I mean, I like hitting the cheap billionaires too. And Carlton's first idea. But you're right. I think the second one is a little more practical.
I just wonder if the trading, if it would make it harder for teams to trade the first round pick. You know what I mean? Like the Rudy Gobert trade for 5 first rounders. There's no way that would happen.
No, I don't think you're getting it as much if you get if it's protected. I think there's a lot more just this. I mean, maybe teams that are doing better, I think, would be more inclined to change their first round pick. But like if you're a lottery team, I feel like you're a lot more cautious with it.
In this day and age, I think it would be hard. Could you imagine if like Schefter or somebody gets a leak of what those picks are? You know what I mean? Like,
well, you have to stop. You have to stop it. You have to swear them to silence. You have to legally swear them to silence.
You have to tell Shams, if you leak this, you are done.
You would be
absolutely
done.
But
can you imagine if that leak comes out? Like somehow it comes out. Oh, the Heat's picks the 5th. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you have to threaten legal act. You have to make it legal. You have to make it essentially where they can't leak, and it's like
Kevin
it's
still to get involved.
it still may leak anyway. But
I think it'd be interesting. There's definitely a lot of options, and the NBA more than any other league, I feel like, would be open at this point because of what we were talking about before the break. The diehard NBA fans are burnt on the tanking stuff.
The product is not nearly as, and I've always been hesitant to say this because obviously like we've been doing this for a long time and I don't want to like insult the league that we're covering, but the product for me genuinely is declining. Like it's a declining product currently. The regular season is not as intriguing.
But like to that point, again, to the back half of the season, wins count towards getting the pick. Like if you capped it at, say the Bucks got in there. It's like, well,
Right.
now Giannis and those guys have a real motive. Like, they could run the gauntlet and really actually win out and get that number one pick. Like, you would get some cool matchups there. Potentially Grizzlies too. You know what I mean? Like, you would have some situations or Trailblazers if they got to a point where they are in it and Dame's, who's not playing, maybe there is more motivation for Dame to get back on the court. So from a fan viewership, you actually get to go see your star again, and he's playing with a purpose.
Right.
Carlton, what were you going to say about the product?
I'll tell you why the product's falling off. So I'm gonna give you two teams from the sample. I'll give you one of my favorite teams. You guys, the 2000 Philadelphia Sixers that with AI that went to the finals, and then let's take last year's Pacers that lost in the finals. Right. The NBA these coaches stop giving role players. Everybody doesn't know their role. On you guys' team, we knew AI was a star. Eric Snow had his role. Aaron McKee. Everybody had their role. Like on that Pacers team, what made them so good, we knew Halliburton was their guy. That was who was going to get the shot. But for the first time in forever, I feel like we've seen where everybody just played their role. Now we have guys, teams like the Hornets, for example, who's always in the lottery. And these guys are looking to be superstars. Brandon Miller was an Alabama legend in basketball, and he comes to the league, and it's just like, okay, so is it him or is it LaMelo? So you have at the top, you don't know who, and then the year before, this guy was picked third, this guy was picked fourth. These are all lottery picks with all this potential. So you have so many young guys. It's hard to tell a number 3 overall pick, hey, you're a role player. This is what we drafted you to do. That's what the Warriors kind of went back and forth with Kuminga. They should have traded him a while ago, but Steve Kerr's trying to say, dude, this is what we need you to do. And he's like, no, I have untapped potential because these players listen to what's said about him. He's like, no, I have untapped potential. I can be the heir after Clay and Steph leaves. So you have a kid who doesn't want to play his role in the coaching staff. So it butts heads. But I think that's all around the league. And I think that's why why the Heat are so happy with their mediocre undrafted players, because undrafted player is just happy to be there. So he's going to maximize his role.
That's where I think, like, to that point, you get those guys who might in a tank, win to get a higher pick situation. You got a guy, like a Kuminga or something like that, that's ready to go be somewhere else, be a star. Is like, maybe you're not as open to going to the Wizards because they're not good, but maybe they want you for at least the back half of this season,
right,
to help them and come to us, win us games, showcase yourself.
Right.
We'll get rid of you in the offseason. Like, in the offseason, we're going to trade you. Help us go get the first round pick, build up your value. You know what I mean? I really think it opens up a lot of situations for, like, what you're saying, for these guys who maybe are being stashed and don't have their role, or are a role player where they should be more, to showcase that a little bit more.
Right, because you can't tell me, I know, not to throw something in the woo, but you can't tell me you don't keep a Jared McCain and he builds with Tyrese Maxey and EJ and VJ and you have a core.
Yeah.
Now you're just drafting to build a complete team.
Yeah.
And you tell them, hey, you hit open threes, you don't turn the ball over, but because now he's going to go play a role in OKC because they have stars. But then, how long does that last?
Right. Well, and he's going to give OKC the ability to potentially trade down the line one of their bigger 3 for more assets to extend the potential dynasty that we see brewing here. Like, that's what he's really going to do, in my opinion.
It gives them optionality, like, more than anything. It gives them options. I mean, the only anti-tanking idea that I've heard that I'm not super a fan of, and we already see it, like Carlton brought up the Premier League earlier. There's also a world where you just you just get rid of the draft and you let the guys basically become free agents, and you just say, hey, you can go sign with whatever franchise you want to sign with. And but I worry about the big market elitism there. Like, I worry about, okay, I don't want every top player being funneled to the Warriors, the Lakers, the Knicks, the Celtics. Like, I want small market to compete too.
Well, that's exactly the problem. You got Anthony Edwards, who just signs with Rich Paul Agency, and where is this Anthony Edwards kid gonna go? when he goes to the league?
Where are these conversations gonna happen?
That's what's. It's crazy that the NBA is allowing Rich Paul to be an agent. You basically allowing LeBron to be an agent.
Yeah.
We're also seeing how bad of a GM LeBron's going to do, and LeBron's going to get a GM job, and we see
he's not good.
How bad he is.
Him and MJ going to follow in the same footsteps of the best players ever in KGM.
He's going to ruin that Vegas team.
By the way, By the way, before we get too far past it, you mentioned the Hornets, and have you been following along the like LaMelo hate that Charlotte apparently has for him after this car crash? Like, dude, it's gotten like he's driving around like he's he's Bruce Wayne of Charlotte. He's out here just no laws apply to him.
Like, how do you do that to a an electric car?
There are compilations too of him peeling out of the arena. I'm like, yo, anytime there is a 3-minute compilation of you driving poorly, and that's just around the arena, that can't be going good.
There was a Reddit thread of some lady being like, yeah, he regularly drives past us on this street. If we're set to be able to cross the street and we see his car coming, we will wait till he passes because he's so bad.
Well, and the thing is
everyone's like, yeah, because he's gonna kill you, and then keep going. Like he's
the
not
Hummer
gonna.
was in the accident. Like that was a super noticeable vehicle as well. And like, thankfully, like here's the thing: people were like, "Why isn't LaMelo in jail?" and all that. It's like, look, you probably like unless you're drunk or you're really doing something negligent, not bad driving. I'm talking like you're straight up texting while driving. You're probably not going to get. Now he will likely get sued, obviously, because he caused a car accident. Was pretty reckless about it. But like, you're not going to go to jail for that unless you were super.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, well, and he stopped. He didn't run either. Like I think people thought he peeled off. Like he kept going for a little bit, but like he stayed on. If LaMelo Ball committed a hit and run, he'd be in jail right now.
Right. He's also only 24, which is, I mean, just from
he shouldn't be driving.
Money, no, he shouldn't. And
like he just straight up, like some point, like you got the money, like he paid a driver. Like he just clearly can't handle that responsibility. Apparently,
the part I'm most confused about too, or interested to see play out here is like LaMelo's always, at least from what I can remember, been like, yeah, I like it here in Charlotte. Like he likes being there. It feels like the city doesn't like him being there now.
The vibes are good too. Like that's the thing is, it feels like I know the Hornets we haven't exactly used as a vibe of good or the motto or the team to hold up is having a good basketball franchise here in the past few years, but like they've been on to something. Like they're in playing position right now. Like Khan was a great draft pick. Brandon Miller has been flame throwing these past few weeks. Like LaMelo, it's working. LaMelo's on the right side of chaos right now. Charlotte
in general as a sports town right now feels like they're finally like, they figured something out. Like the Panthers were good this year. The Hornets are turning things around. Like it feels good there. The hockey team's good.
Canes are great.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see.
It's funny, like you guys said, we kind of checked out from the NBA. Charlotte is my favorite team to box score watch and see the next. Like, let me see what Charlotte did, because they might give you 150 points or they might give you 90. And it's just, you
never know what you're getting with them.
And like they'll legit beat the Pistons 150 to 128. And it's just like, what? Like what happened yesterday?
It's a good league pass watch for sure. Like if we're doing the league pass rankings and all that, like they're for sure a team, and especially in the second half. Like as you watch, for all the teams we're talking about in tanking that we probably don't want to watch down the stretch, like they are one of the teams. Like the Hornets are going for it. Like they're pushing for that play-in spot. I love it. Like the Bucks don't feel like they're going to be trending in the right direction to knock them out. Like I don't know, man. The way they're feisty, like they're right there with Atlanta. That game could be a home game. Who knows? Orlando has not really turned the corner here. They could very well keep pace with them, and Miami. The Sixers of all of a sudden with Embiid being out have gone back in the wrong direction. Like East is wide open. That's all I'm saying. East is wide open.
And I don't think we put the Hornets in this conversation, but you look at it after the Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, and Cavs are all tied at 36. So like that top four, obviously one's pretty locked in my opinion, but 2 through 4, like. Dude, that's like a half game, one game, and you could go from second all the way to fourth, and really the Raptors are nipping at it 3 games behind that, so you could pop all the way down to the 5th.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a world. I mean, I hope they do. We'll see. But all right, let's switch gears a little bit. Who's balling, who's falling? Our NBA version of the stock market. We always like start with the good before the bad. So Justin, I will start with you this week. Who is balling? Yep.
No, this works perfect because we just kind of mentioned it with Boston. I think Boston could be in a situation where the power shift could really change depending on how Tatum is. The balling part of this is Tatum's begun light workouts, which is an indication of an attempt to return. If that happens, it can't happen, or it should, in theory, happen. If you're trying to make a good playoff run here, it should happen in March, which would be crazy to think about. But apparently he is doing a little bit of like 5-on-5 playing. He's starting to, build that intensity back up. Obviously, the goal would be have him for the playoffs. And if that happens, I mean, where Boston is now without him, you bring Tatum back, you hear like that could change the whole power structure of the East, and really project them to be the one to come out of the East. So if he comes back, isn't too rusty, and is ready to go for the playoffs, it could be really balling for the Celtics and Jaylen Brown and all them, who are, at this point tied for second in the East, and really could put them right in it.
Boston out of my life.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
It's such a balance right now because, like they are playing so well. And obviously without Tatum, I think most people wrote this off as like a non-contending season for Boston. But the way they're playing right now, like, look, the net rating on both sides of the ball isn't fake. Like, this is a good basketball team. I don't think they're quite the East favorite, but they're certainly right there. Like, I don't think, the difference between them and Detroit and New York and maybe Cleveland, I'm still, a little playoff worried with Cleveland, but like it's not much right now. And look, I think Tatum's ramping it up. Like, I mean, he's already, posting in the main Red Claws jersey, like that he's been down with the G League. Like, I think he's going to make every effort at this. Obviously, largely, I feel like if you have a chance to win the title, the only thing I worry about is the risk of re-injury, obviously returning off it. And I do slightly worry about the chemistry. Like, this is a much different team from when Tatum was on it. And they, a lot of those guys have left. It's been a lot of new faces. Like, they're used to playing a certain style this year. Obviously a player of Jayson Tatum's caliber is going to demand a certain amount of attention. I'm interested to see if they manage that, how they're able to do it. I do think, for what it's worth, if he plays this season, it is going to be on a heavy minutes restriction. So I do think that maybe naturally helps itself out. But yeah, I mean, it to me, it appears like he's going to give this thing a go. And the way the Celtics are right now, like, I can totally understand why.
And I would say, the low key, like Vooch joining Boston too, I guess kind of went a little bit under the radar, but like, dude, you have him and then you bring in Tatum potentially back. Like, yes, the chemistry's wrong, but between, like, we know what Vooch is. Like, we've seen him in Orlando because we always talked about it. Obviously, Chicago, he was doing his thing, but kind of stashed to the side. I think people kind of forgot about what he's capable of. I think him and Tatum coming back could be, I mean, it could put Boston over the top, really. And he's only, I mean, Vooch has only played, I guess it's been four games with him. And it seems, I mean, he dropped 19 the other night against Chicago, which is kind of funny. But like, I think that could really be a low key thing for Boston. And like, back to the conversation of that $50 I'm taking to Vegas, dude. Boston might be the one to put it on,
Justin,
bro.
you can't morally do that, man. You can't. Come on, you gotta have a code a little bit.
But come on, what do you think the odds are on that? Like, and listen, the moral goes away when you see that plus 2,000.
Just coming here making it rain on the next podcast.
Let me pull up Hard Rock and see what's on that right now. Like, I'm just telling you, like, dude.
It segues kind of nice into your teams that we're talking about, because Ballin for me this week is the Detroit Pistons taking firm control of the number. I mean, I guess Oklahoma City has one more win now, but they also have one more loss. But like, Detroit right there with the best record in the NBA, 42-13. They got a solid 6 games over said Celtics, and then 7 over the Knicks and Cavs, who we just talked about. In the Eastern Conference, I mean, you want to talk about, we mentioned them a little bit earlier in the year, but I mean, this was a team who 2 years ago, we were talking about going on like 20-game losing streaks right now, a coaching nightmare, weren't running out NBA caliber rosters. And since then, Cade Cunningham has morphed into a very bona fide MVP candidate. I think that was on display at the Garden the other day. But just this roster is for real. They're ready to compete. And, you start to look around at these finals contenders. I don't know. Detroit got, the way we talked about OKC, how I feel like they needed that seasoning after their first year and then they went on the run. I feel like Detroit got that seasoning last year in that tough series against the Knicks. I think these boys are ready for the playoffs.
I agree with you. Something about the Pistons still makes me a little bit worried. I don't know what it is yet.
It's the Pistons.
That could be maybe it hasn't like
JB Bickerstaff's playoff record isn't super ideal either.
Yeah. Dude,
I laugh at JB Bickerstaff. He finally got a head coach. You remember me and Kev were talking about this? Remember when he was everybody's interim coach because his head coach just getting fired?
Yeah,
like he would have been nowhere near my staff.
I mean, I guess from if you were to put money on NBA teams to win it all this year, where would the Pistons be on your list? Like, would they be third, fourth?
Yeah, they got to be top three.
I think three, yeah. Well, playing in the East helps too, where it's like, I think there are probably better teams in the West, but they're all going to have to go through each other, where it's like the Pistons, I trust them to beat Boston more. I trust them to beat the Knicks more. Like their level of who they're going to have to go through is, and honestly, the way the bracket breaks right now, if there's a world where the Knicks and the Celtics play each other again in the second round, like you may not even have to go through both of them. So I feel like to that they're third. Like I've still got OKC at 1. I'm not about to just jump off that plane yet, even though there are those injuries there. 2, do you pick San Antonio? Do you pick Denver? Like that's kind of like which one do you like there? I think San Antonio is playing better right now, but. Right.
And that's why I'm kind of like, I feel like they might be fourth on my list, which is weird because like a three from the East are going to take that first 3, I think, which they should cannibalize each other. But like, if I'm putting money on it, I feel good about those 3. You know,
I like their matchup versus Denver though. Like Jokic is Jokic, but bar for bar, everybody else you like Detroit. Like you got Jamal going against Cade. Like we know who's cooking in there, and then. The one thing that does give Jokic problem is athletic size. So you got Durden for that. You got Isaiah Stewart's going to knock 2 people out with punches. So like, I kind of like how they match up against Denver.
I'm curious to see what their records against each other this season.
It's giving big Indiana vibes though from last year. Like there is kind of that point where it's like, look, you got your bona fide star that you know is going to be your guy, and everybody knows. You know, it goes back to Carlton. Everybody knows their roles on this roster. Like nobody's trying to be anything more. I mean, and look, they beat up on the Knicks this year. Like they have for sure played extremely well against them. They've been in the Knicks' head now. Like, there are people asking, is that a matchup problem for them?
I think so, just because Brunson can do nothing with Cade's size. Like, Cade can basically do everything Brunson can do, but he's like 6 inches taller.
It looks like the Pistons might have beat the Nuggets the 2 times they play.
Yeah, I think that's a bad matchup for Denver.
Pistons won 109-107 on January 27th, and Pistons won 124-121 February 3rd.
Oh, was Jokic playing that game?
I don't know. That's the part that's. I mean, both games are like a 1 point. You know what I mean? Yeah. 1-score game, so it's close. I wonder when they play each other again.
Oh no, that's probably it.
You're right. Actually, it might just be
probably
those
1 or 2.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, in case anybody was wondering, I pulled it up. Boston is a plus 1,400 right now, which is crazy. But hold on, because the teams that are also 1,400, it's only one other team, and it's the Pistons. That's why I asked that.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that. Like, I don't think Vegas in the national, like, casual base, if you will, has probably called on to Detroit yet. In Detroit, I think they haven't won a playoff series at the end of the day. Like this Celtics core, I know is radically different, but like they just won the finals 2 years ago. So I feel like there's a lot of like respect for that too as well.
The teams in front of them, obviously OKC's number 1 at plus 135, Denver's plus 475 at number 2, San Antonio's plus 1,100. The Cavs are plus 1,200 above the Pistons and above the Celtics, and both of those are above the Knicks. So, interesting.
Yeah. All right, who's falling for you this week?
We're low on that. Fallen for me is going to go to the Suns. As I pull up my stats here, Fallen for me is going to go to the Phoenix Suns, who've got some bad injuries going on right now. Devin Booker's out for at least 1 week with a strain. Dillon Brooks the other night went down with a broken hand. He's going to be out for obviously a good bit here. The Suns being one of those teams that we kind of talk about that are, I guess, technically middle of the pack, but have been a surprise with all the change that happened with the Suns last year. Right now they sit 33-24 at number 7. I imagine it drops a little bit with their 2 guys going down, which obviously they do have a little bit of a buffer between the Warriors and them. Warriors are right behind at number 8 with 29 wins. So just something to keep an eye on. Booker hopefully will be back, and it won't be too long of a falter, just really a 1 week little thing here. But from a Brooks standpoint, I mean, broken hand, he's going to be out for a minute.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, that's like you said, a surprise for them. A team that's been feisty, a team that's been competitive. You still like their chances. Like, I'm not really worried about them falling out of play-in position a little bit. But right, like if they were going to make a run to try to catch the Lakers here, to try to catch Minnesota and avoid that spot,
well,
you're probably a little tough there.
To that point, you get 2 more wins on this, and you're sitting number 4 in the West. You're right up there above the Rockets. They're really only 1 game behind the Rockets, so 2 games really behind the Rockets. So that's where the injury kind of sucks a little bit. Is you really could use those moves. Dillon Brooks he was on a tear. He was doing great for the Suns. So
he's playing great.
You're gonna lose that scoring production even if Booker comes back, and even if that loses you a game or two, that could prevent you from landing number 4 in the West to go into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, and that's a conference where seeding matters more than anything.
For sure.
Fallin for me, I'm going to pivot real quick. I was going to do, Jaden Ivey, who unfortunately is dealing with another injury and sounded very sad and bleak about him not being the same player, and talking about it being in God's hands, which is, I feel like when you invoke the Lord in sports, it's never great. Like that's, I remember Bryce Young saying that after his first 2 starts, and I was like, that doesn't feel good. But no, I'm gonna pivot. We got to talk about KD Burnergate a little bit, because you kind of brought that up, or we kind of, the Rockets and Suns a little bit. I feel like that's a natural transition. And again, like I hesitated here because we're still kind of like, it's in the very, like, we don't know if this is confirmed, but there were a lot of people in KD's inner circle who were tweeting this account. Among other things, he bashed Şengün a little bit. He called Jabari Smith mentally weak. Some stuff about the Suns roster and all that. Some not so flattering comments about Kyrie and how he felt like Kyrie treated Luka differently than him and James in Brooklyn, James Harden. It's just, it's KD talking smack with just a bunch of his buddies. Like, it's just internal conversations, but he hasn't really been tweeting since, so I don't think that really helps either. And the boardroom, there's a report that that the boardroom, his PR agency, that everyone got fired and that everyone got laid off. So it's definitely going to be keeping an eye on this one over the next few weeks. Well, I guess that's my point here.
Yeah, the guy who is, I guess, on KD's team that talked about how the boardroom, the sports, the media, entertainment, it has all been gone. He added it's because the layoff staff were unable to export their email contacts, which is a whole nother, like, oh God, guys, what are you doing here? Like, this is going to get dirty. But yeah, man, it's not good stuff. That's why maybe don't be tweeting burner account.
At this point, KD just needs to tweet from his own account. Like,
people know what it is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just
know what it is.
He's already roasted
people
from
your own
anyway.
account, man.
Yeah.
So frying everybody.
I never would have imagined, like, I'm not sure how many times you guys have watched Kevin Garnett talk, but he is phenomenal. And I never would imagine. I'm starting to be able to look forward to post playing KD. Like, put a microphone in front of him. We are going to get so many gems that I did not expect us to be able to get.
He loves basketball. Like, if there's only thing, like, that is the one thing about Kevin Durant. If nothing else, that man truly loves this sport, and he loves breaking down basketball. And I think that's where he just, like, gets in trouble with a lot of these people. Sometimes he starts arguing with people. But you're right. Like, I think if he decides to do media, he's going to be really good at it. I think, and because he's right, he's not afraid to be unfiltered a little bit. Like, I don't, that's why Barkley is so great. That's why, like you just mentioned, has been so great with KG in terms of making the transition. Like, you want them to tell. Like, the reason to me you get these athletes is because they have those stories and can be unfiltered a little bit. Like, if they're not providing that, I don't know what they're providing a lot of the time.
Did you see Charles slip up the other night when talking about the Knicks?
No, what he said?
You'll have to look it up. It's not. He didn't say Knicks. He accidentally said a D. And Shaq couldn't hold back.
Oh, I know
Shaq was losing it. And Charles never caught what he said, so they go to commercial break and they come back and someone tweeted, what did Charles just say? And put up a picture of Dick's Sporting Goods. And they're all crying, laughing. I was like, oh, poor Charles can't even do a breakdown of a game without them listening.
That's
That
so
show was
funny.
still gold, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those guys are good. So
No doubt about it. But all right, should we switch gears here? Let's go a little Immaculate Grid again. The first time we played a grid with 3 people. Let's run through this quick here a little bit.
Carlton, I'll pivot this. Although I guess the cameras. Oh, let me do this.
Come around.
We'll do this. Yeah, here we go. And I'll put it on Carlton and myself.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so we got Justin, we got Carlton, we got Immaculate Grid. Like we said, 6 teams this week, so we're really excited about it. All right, so again, you can always watch Immaculate Grid on YouTube. Just search Driving Dish NBA podcast. For our podcast listeners, though, our columns this week from left to right, we got the Knicks, we got the Trailblazers, and we got the Lakers. Our rows from top to bottom, we got the Nuggets, we got the Thunder, and we got the Rockets. So right off the rip, I don't think there's any Alfred Payton connection, Justin. I regret to inform you. But all right, no, Carlton, this is the first one for you. This is the first, guest one. So start us off. What are you thinking?
Oh man. I'm trying to.
Melo works.
Yeah,
Melo works in a lot of places.
Carmelo for the. Yeah, he does. Because I was thinking
this is like a grid of. I think this might actually be the Melo grid. Now that I think about it, because it's like it is every team he's playing for.
Which one do we think Melo will be the least used?
We use him as a free spot, like on the.
I know, I feel
holy cow!
It's got to be Lakers Rockets, right?
The least, you think?
I think the least. I mean, Lakers, he was strictly coming off the bench. Portland is where he rebounded his career. Denver and Knicks obviously go without saying. Yeah. OKC and Rockets, OKC was the first wash tenure. The Rockets was he might be out of the league wash tenure. And then Portland is where he, obviously ended up bouncing back a little bit.
Yeah.
Lakers, he never played serious minutes.
What I'm trying to think of, okay, out of these connections, who's another very large name that would be said? You know what I mean?
Russ is all over this grid too.
Yeah, well, so that's what I'm thinking is if someone was going to go Russ or someone was going to go a bigger star, we could put Carmelo there because they're probably not thinking Melo at that point. Because I think Melo's most to me, Denver Knicks would be Melo's most popular.
Yeah, for sure, yes. Unquestionably.
KCP for the Lakers and Nuggets.
Yeah, KCP definitely works there. Lakers and Nuggets got a few. I'm trying to think. Who's they got a super popular one that I'm not blanking on right now. That'll come back to me.
For Lakers Nuggets,
Trailblazers is tough just because they have so many forgettable players for lack of better terms.
I know. Did what was it? Was it Anthony Simmons? Did he ever go to the Rockets?
No, Simons was on Portland. I mean, he just got. Where did he just get? He got traded to Chicago. Never mind. Just
did he go to Chicago?
He was in the Vooch trade. Yeah. The one I think the most obvious one, I think the number one popular answer. There's two for me with Nuggets and Blazers. I think the one that is going to come to people's mind is Nurkic, maybe, because Nurkic was started in Denver with Jokic and then was in Portland for a while.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think the other one
Where's Nurkic now? Where is he now?
Nurkic is in Utah now.
Utah, that's right.
He was on Phoenix for last year. He was on Phoenix. He's been on a few teams now. The other one is Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant definitely played for Portland and Denver, 100%.
And he played. Did he play for Rockets and OKC? Jeremy Grant.
He played for OKC for sure. Actually, yeah, that's actually not a bad one for Portland and OKC. I feel like he might be lower there. He was only on OKC for maybe half a season.
Do Grant.
Yeah, we want to do Jeremy. I'm good if we want to do Jeremy Grant there.
Jeremy, there you go. 13%. Okay.
Wow. All right, maybe more. And listen, more popular than I expected. I'm not gonna lie. Where do we want to put Melo? I do feel like we got to put Melo on the board.
Yeah, we got to put Melo somewhere. I personally feel like Rockets Trailblazers would be pretty low.
Yeah, I think that anything with the Rockets, I think will be low. I lean that he'll be lower on the Lakers than Portland. But if you want to put him for Houston and Portland, I'm not mad at it.
Let's do that. Let's see. Melo here.
Because Lakers and Rockets got plenty of other players.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. There we go. Yeah, 5%. Christian Wood, right? He's at least there now, I think.
Is not who I was thinking, but he does. And Christian Wood was popping up on Twitter when somebody said the Rockets need him the other day, and somebody slandered. Somebody had a Christian Wood jersey on, and somebody tweeted why would you wear that? And Christian Wood responded. He's like, I got buckets there for a little bit.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'm good with that. He's relevant. We can put him in right now.
Wood?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Christian Wood. There he is. I bet it's high. No, 2%. Okay.
Nice.
Rondo. Okay, no. Rondo.
Did he play for OKC?
He played for Lakers, which made me try to go OKC.
I don't think he would have. I don't think he played for the Rockets. I don't think Rondo works on this grid.
No,
weirdly.
I don't think so.
Number
He's
one
never
flag football quarterback in the country, Rajon Rondo.
It's funny. I was trying to throw Chris Paul on here, but he didn't play for any of the top teams.
Here's a weird one. I'm almost positive KJ McDaniels played on the Rockets. Do we think he ended up on the Knicks?
I don't think he played for the. I know he played for the Rockets too. I don't know if he played for the Knicks.
I don't think he played for the other three anyway because we're already tapped out on those. Did Nerlens Noel end up on the Knicks at any point?
Nerlens
wasn't he on
played
the
for
Rockets
the Knicks
too?
He also played for the Thunder too, I think.
Oh, Thunder Knicks would work. Yeah. I'm more confident about Thunder than I am Rockets.
All right, I'm good with that. We do Nerlens there. Make it a process. Shoot, I got to find a way. Who can we get for OKC and the Lakers and make it a process one?
Where did Okafor go?
The Pels, the Pistons. If Pistons were on here, he would have genuinely worked there.
Yeah.
Are we going to throw? Which one are we going to use our Westbrook spot for?
Yeah, we have a Westbrook spot too.
What's left? I mean, Lakers Thunder is going to be super obvious.
Yeah, Lakers Thunder's obvious.
Lakers Denver is less obvious. I mean, it was relatively recent, but
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't work for Knicks Rockets and he doesn't work for Blazers and Nuggets. So it's like, it's either Lakers Nugs or it's either Lakers Nugs or Thunder Nugs. And I feel like we got to go Lakers Nugs at that point.
Lakers Nugs for Westbrook.
Yeah, OKC he's going to be super high. I mean,
yeah. I agree. This is probably high too. Yeah, 24.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that's still good. That's going to be less.
Russ is Russ. He would have worked for Houston there too, but I think Christian Wood's a good answer there. All right, so we got Lakers, Thunder, Rockets, Knicks, Nuggets, and Blazers, Nuggets. So let's do one of the Nuggets ones. Let's knock one of those two out first. I know for Knicks and Nuggets, I don't know why this is the first person I went to, but Kenyon Martin works there. 2000s guy. I feel like, was DeAndre Jordan ever on the Knicks?
I don't think he was.
He's played everywhere now.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm trying to remember if he got like a late tenure there, but I know he was on Denver for sure. He won the title in Denver. Recently, I'm trying to think of guys that were over there.
Dude, I feel like in my head, I literally have no Nuggets, Knicks, other than Melo. I can't
know who else. No, who else works there because they had the trade. Like, there's a bunch of guys in the Gallinari trade. Gallinari works there. Wilson Chandler works there.
Yes.
Do Wilson Chandler. Wilson Chandler is gonna be low.
Yeah. Or J.R. Smith. Nah, J.R. Smith's popular.
Oh yeah, J.R. is about to be. Yeah, good point. J.R. is about to be super high.
Yeah.
J.R. might be the number one answer there, honestly. Well, beyond Melo, actually. Just kidding.
Yeah, Melo.
Melo. Just kidding.
I don't know if he ever played for the Knicks. Very random player. Very, very random player. Luther Head. I just remember him killing the Heat for the Rockets.
Luther Head. What a.
Then he played for the Heat and broke his hand.
Dude, I wouldn't even know. Rockets, Knicks. Jeez.
Luther Head, that was crazy. That might be the craziest drop I've ever heard in Immaculate Grid. That was wild.
Rockets, Knicks.
All right. I mean, Lakers and Immaculate Grid darling Dennis Schroeder works for.
I was thinking he would, but I didn't want to bring him up because I felt like it was a cop out.
It's so cliche. I mean, Caruso is the obvious one right now for Thunder and Lakers.
I forgot about Caruso. Yeah, Caruso's a good one.
I mean, beyond that, think too of Lakers and Sonics because you always have the Sonics that you can use for this.
Well, then Gary Payton at that point, right?
Oh yeah, wow, good call. Oh, we should do Gary Payton. I'm good with Gary Payton there. Yeah, Gary? I mean, I think he might be higher, but I like that. Get some '90s rep in here.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary played on that Lakers team that didn't win with Karl Malone. They lost to the Pistons, so tie it back to Detroit a little bit. Okay, let's do Knicks and Rockets. I mean, I mentioned him a little earlier. I'm pretty certain that Kenyon Martin ended up on the Rockets too at some point.
Yeah, Kenyon Martin's probably a good one.
Oh, damn.
Matt Barnes.
There's another guy
I mentioned Matt Barnes, right? He didn't. I don't think he was on either of them. I always think of Matt Barnes when I think of the Knicks because of the fight.
Oh, with Derek Fisher.
With Derek Fisher.
Going back to the early 2000s, who else did Steve Francis play for other than the Rockets?
I think he did play for the Knicks. I'm pretty certain he played for the Knicks. I know he played for the Magic because that was in the trade after Houston. But I feel like he ended his career on the Knicks. Like he was one of those like real late in his type thing. I would be super down for Steve Francis there because obviously like Houston legend.
Yeah, franchise.
I'm pretty like I'm positive about that.
Francis 10.
10%. A little lower than I expected, only because he was such a guy in Houston, obviously. Loki T-Mac would have worked there too. Speaking of that trade, I think T-Mac would have worked there. All right, so now finishing, we got Nurkic as one, so that's our fallback if worse comes to worse. God, I feel like there's somebody more recent though. I'm trying to think of I thought of Billups for a second, though that only works as a coach, it did work as a coach. God, there's another like not Stackhouse, but somebody like that. I feel like from that like late 90s, early 2000s. So I feel like played for both.
Who was in the early years of like Dame? Did any of those guys?
This is when we could think random dunk contest people.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, it was Dame, it was CJ, it was Batum, it was Wes Matthews. Did Wes Matthews play on the Nuggets?
Was
Batum on the?
Oh, Batum.
Batum wasn't. I'm weirdly like versed in Nick Batum's career, and he was not on the Nuggets.
Why the F Batum?
Or not on the not on the Nuggets. I should say he was on the Blazers. I do. Oh wow.
Did Thabo Cephalosha ever play for the Trailblazers?
Oh man. And that's one of those things that sounds right, but I just have nowhere to
to pull it from. Yeah.
Nowhere in my mind bank of Thabo Cephalosha game highlights is here a Trailblazers.
Right. Trailblazers, dude. They may be the one I would know roster-wise the least. And then Nuggets are another one that are low on my list. So this is
even they're like older guys. Like I'm trying to think of like around like Brandon Roy and that whole era.
See,
and none of those guys are popping up.
Did random players like
did
Mutombo ever play for the Nuggets?
Mutombo.
Mutombo
definitely.
Did he ever play for the Trailblazers? I mean,
he was definitely on the Nuggets.
I don't think so. I think we would.
I don't think so. I don't remember it.
Seth Curry ever end up?
Seth played for Portland for sure because he was on the conference finals.
But was he ever on the Nuggets?
I kind of feel like
it would have been early if it was.
Yeah,
it would have been one of those like him bouncing around the G type deal.
Yeah.
Oh
boy.
Dude, yeah, I don't. Did Gallinari ever play? I don't think Gallinari ever played for Portland.
There's going to be someone so blatantly obvious. Well, I mean, we have Nurkic, but there's going to be another one that's like blatantly obvious. Dude, we might just have to go Nurkic.
We do. I don't want to have a drag. We're already at a good episode time. Let's just do it. Let's keep the 100%.
Nurkic.
I think it's gonna be the number one answer. But all
right, let's 16 actually is pretty low.
Let's go. Let's go down and do our top answers here real quick. All right, so a lot of Melo and a lot of Russ, like we said. Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so Carmelo Anthony, number one answer for Nuggets and Knicks, and Nuggets and Trailblazers. Russell Westbrook, number one for Nuggets and Lakers. Russell Westbrook was also number one for Thunder and Lakers. Sean Kemp for Trailblazers and Thunder. I didn't know that either. I learned something today. Isaiah Hartenstein for Knicks and Thunder. Yeah, recency right there. Jeremy Lin for Rockets and Knicks. Scottie Pippen for Trailblazers and Rockets. End career Pippen. I forgot about that Rockets stint there. And then Robert Horry for Lakers and Rockets.
I'm curious about Trailblazers and Nuggets. Andre Miller. That's.
Andre Miller's a good. Yeah, Marcus Camby. That's who I was thinking of. That's the 2000s guy. I couldn't think of. I think I got him and Kenyon Martin.
Vonleh is an interesting plug.
You put Vonleh in that group.
Well,
no, you're bring up Fat Lever. Are you kidding me?
I moved on. I was looking at more recent. Andre, yeah, that's a good one. Camby. Raymond Felton. There you go. There's a big one.
Too would have been a good one recently.
Ooh.
Steve Blake. That one I would have known.
All right, well, let's pop
NBA
back
2K.
over to our grid one last
Okay.
time. Recap. So we got Wilson Chandler for Nuggets and Knicks, Yusuf Nurkic for Nuggets and Trailblazers, Russell Westbrook for Thunder and Nuggets, for Lakers and Nuggets, Nerlens Noel for Knicks and Thunder, Jeremy Grant for Thunder and Portland, Gary Payton for Lakers and Thunder, Steve Francis for Knicks and Rockets, Carmelo Anthony for Rockets and Trailblazers, Christian Wood for Lakers and Rockets.
I would
Thank
say
you,
Carmelo at 5% on that. I think we definitely found one of
definitely
the lowest squares.
It would have been one of those bottom two ones.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Hey, Kev, real quick, in the off season, we're gonna have to do a show where we just talk about players who have random lyrics. Because Nicholas Batum, of course, the one that he's not a fan of, and then you say Aaron Aflalo, and I can't say Aaron Aflalo without saying the line.
The Kendrick line.
We're gonna have to do a show where people wear these players' lines.
I'm telling you. Well, listen, I used to be jealous of Aaron Aflalo. Like, you know how it goes.
You gotta say it.
Yeah, every time I still think about it. But thank you everybody for listening to this episode of Driving Dish NBA Podcast. We appreciate you as always. Like we said, fun one back in the booth with Justin. We of course on screen our guy Carlton Cabey joining us. Like we said, I love a surprise guest here on the podcast. Appreciate him jumping on as always. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. Read them on the show wherever you can find a podcast. You can find us.
And follow us on YouTube, Driving Dish NBA Podcast on YouTube. Get notifications when new episodes are coming out.
Oh, goddamn Arsenal.